Hello, my amazing first grade artist. Today we're going to be starting a new project. We are going to be creating these fun walruses using oil pastels. So before we start, teachers, I want you to look in your lesson plans and go to YouTube, search for Arctic Animals written by Jill McDonald. I've got the whole type out there in your lesson plan of what to search for. And it's a story about Arctic animals to kind of get the students in the mood. And let's just talk a little bit about walruses. So first of all, I have this picture of two walruses. You see here, you see their long tusk. So the walruses have long tusk and a prominent mustache. So you can kind of see on this one, their whiskers almost make like a mustache. If you can see that really right there. These large marine mammals, they're really big, are found near the Arctic Circle. So this is a map of our world, and we live here in the United States of America, and the Arctic is way up here. It's the North Pole where it's very, very cold, lots of snow, lots of ice. So you see in the background, you see the mountains with the snow, and there's some white snow on the ground there. They are extremely social, so that means they like to be with other walruses, and they bellow loudly at their companions. They make these real loud noises. Walruses have wrinkled brown and pink skin, so you can kind of see here. Long, coarse whiskers, those are up here. Flat flippers, those are the flippers. And lots of blubber on their bodies. Blubber is fat, so you can see all of that. And it keeps them warm in the cold Arctic water. They can slow down their heartbeat to withstand the chilly water temperatures and to help them stay underwater for as long as 10 minutes. I bet you can't hold your breath for 10 minutes. I can't do that, but walruses can, so that's really neat. Their long tusks are very useful in many ways. They use them to pull their big bodies out of the cold waters, and they seem to walk on their tusks, so they use them to help walk sometimes. They also use their tusks to break breathing holes into the ice from below. So if they're under the water and they need to come up to breathe and it's all icy, they can break a hole in it with their tusk. The tusks are found on both males and females, and they keep growing throughout their entire lives. And so they're actually canine teeth. So the canine in your mouth, the canine teeth are the ones that are up to the side and they're kind of pointy. But theirs can grow to be about 3 feet long. That's probably about as tall as you. That's really long. Their whiskers are very sensitive and help the walruses find their favorite meals, such as clams, way down in the deep, dark ocean floor. And the whiskers are the longest at the corners of their mouth. So we're going to be making our own walrus, and we're going to be making whiskers and tusks on it. I'm going to show you how to draw it in just a minute. And let's look at this drawing. This is actually a collage, a cutout of a walrus, the two walruses, by a man named Eric Carle. He was an illustrator, and an illustrator does the pictures for books. So this is one he did for walrus. And so you see he made his walrus these pretty magenta, purple colors, and you see the whiskers and the tusk on theirs. So to begin with, you can choose, you can do it on whatever color construction paper you want. Your teachers may pick it for you, or you may pick it for yourself. I'm going to start with a piece of purple, and you're going to be using your chunky oil pastels, and we're all going to start with black. I'm going to have some extra black ones because I know we're going to be using that probably a lot. Everybody's got to start their drawing with a black oil pastel. So we're going to start at the bottom of our page. We've got our page turned like this, the long side going up and down. And we're going to just come over a few finger spaces. Teachers, if it helps, you can put a dot here, and you can put one here with just a few finger spaces, or let the kids put a dot. And you're going to go up almost to the top, not all the way, but really close, and then come down to that other dot. And that's going to be the head of our walrus. Okay, in the middle, we're going to make a nose, and I'm just going to color that dark black. And then we're going to make his muzzle. Okay, the walrus's muzzle is where his nose and all those whiskers are. So I'm going to start on this side of the nose, and I'm going to go down. And I'm going to make another one on this side that goes down, and then across. That's the walrus's muzzle. And then we're going to make his long tusk. So I'm going to make a long upside down triangle that goes like that. And then there's a little space, and then we have another one. Teachers, you could give the students some scrap paper to practice this with first if you want to. And then we're going to put 2 dark black eyes on either side. And that's really just our walrus. Okay, we're going to come back later and outline some more in black, but right now that's all we're going to do in black. So now we're going to start coloring. So I'm going to make the tusk white. So you have some oil pastels. Look how dirty my oil pastel is. And I'm going to really be using that end, so I need to clean it off. So I'm going to get some paper towel and then just clean it off, because whoever used this before got it dirty, and now look how clean it is. So I'm going to go in and start coloring, but I'm going to try to not touch the black if I can. It's okay if you do, but I'm trying to get just close to it, but not all the way. And I'm going to color my tusk white. I'm going to do that on both of them. And then you get to decide what color you want your walrus to be. I'm making a blue walrus today, but you can make whatever color walrus you want. And we're going to layer our oil pastels. So for the muzzle, I'm going to make it a light blue. I'm going to color it all in. I'm going to kind of go around my black places, because if you get your oil pastel in the black, it'll smudge it. So I'm trying to get close to it, but not all the way. We're going to go back later and outline again in black and make that black really stand out. And then we're going to layer. So now I'm going to go in with another blue. I think I like this. This is kind of a bluish green. And I'm going to go around the edges and kind of go in and layer. Layering is just putting one color on top of another color. And then you don't see as much of your background showing through. Oil pastels look best when they're layered. I could even come in now with some white on top of that to make it look a little lighter in the middle. Encourage your students to layer. If your students are just using one layer, teachers, have them go back and do another layer. So now I'm going to do the rest of him blue. So I'm going to go in with this darker blue, and I'm just going all around. It's making my camera shake a little bit because it's moving the table a little bit because I'm pressing down. I'm just going to go in all around. I can even come down and maybe just outline all real close up to my black. My outline around my eye. Just color all that in. Now this is just, remember we said oil pastels look best when you layer. So this is just my first layer. I'm going to use the same color family, which is blue, to put more layers. Teachers, in your lesson plan, I wrote some tips. So like the students should either color their walrus using warm or cool colors. So show them, have an example of a color wheel up so they can see the difference in what warm and cool colors are. And then you're going to, if you choose cool colors, you blend several cool colors. If you choose warm colors, you blend several warm colors. But if you blend warm and cool colors together, it's going to turn like a muddy color. So you don't want to do that. You want to just stay with warm or cool. You can, if it helps, if you have students that are having a hard time with that, you could even separate them. And one table does warm and one table does cool, so they aren't tempted to get the wrong color family in there. I'm just trying to go fast. I want you to kind of slow down on yours, but I'm trying to go fast so I can show you my next step with this layering. So I decided I was going to do blue, but now I need to go in and put some more layering. So I'm going to get my lighter blue now, and I'm just going to go back over everything I just did. Do you see how that's really changing the color? And it makes it look prettier, richer. I'm covering up some of the places where that purple background was showing through. So go all over your walrus doing this, okay? Trying to not get into those black lines that you did earlier. We're going to go back in a little bit and make them thicker, but right now, just do that. Go in here. And do you remember what I said to do when your oil pastel gets dirty? You can clean it off with a paper towel. Easy peasy. Okay, now you can also, even if you wanted to, you could take a really dark blue and go around your edges just to make it look like there's a little shadow. Go around the eyes. Muzzle a little bit. You can layer 2 or 3 colors. Okay, so the next step on the walrus is we are going to go back now. Once you get him colored, you're going to go back with your black and go over all those black places even harder, pressing down even harder this time, and outlining that line even darker. Do you see how I'm going back now and I'm making that line really dark? All the way down here. I'm kind of coloring as I go so it makes it darker. And also do the outside of your walrus. All the way around. When you do that really dark line, it really makes him stand out. And we're going to do one more line to like really make our walrus stand out. Around the edge of your walrus, you see how I did this one? We're going to put a white line. And it'll give him a little highlight. We're going to not do it over. You're going to do it just to the side of the black line you made. It's going to make him really stand out when you do that. So just to the side of the black line. Doesn't he really stand out now? Now, the last thing we do will be add whiskers, but now let's work on a background. So I put some ideas in your lesson plans about ideas. You can do snowflakes. You could do waves like water. You could do a rainbow. You could do northern lights. The northern lights are something that happens in the sky at different times of the year, and people that live in northern places can see it, and the sky has these beautiful greens and blues and purples. You could do stars. So think of all kinds of ideas that you could do. So this one I did kind of like snowflakes. So I'm going to show you how I did that. But now you could do a rainbow behind him. I want everybody to try to think of different things that they can do so that yours will look creative and different. But I'm going to use my white. I'm going to make some snowflakes, and I'm going to clean it off over here on a paper towel. And a snowflakes, I can make an X and then go through it one more time. And see how those look like snowflakes all over. And maybe I'll make some white snowflakes. Maybe I'll make some blue snowflakes. Now, snowflakes really aren't blue in real life, but walruses aren't blue in real life either. This is an imaginary picture, so it can look however you want it to look. And you could put some dots even. I'm going to make some gray dots. Sometimes snow just looks like little dots falling down. You do your background however you want. Teachers really encourage them to be creative with that. Maybe even on your sample, you could do something creative to show them a different idea. So this is kind of how mine looks in the end. Oh, I almost forgot. We've got to do our whiskers. So you take your white at the very end. You take your white and you just go in and draw some whiskers. And they kind of do blend in with everything. They kind of start blending in, but that's okay. They'll show up and you'll get to see them. So that's my whiskers. So there's my other finished one. So I cannot wait to see what these look like, boys and girls. I know they're going to be colorful and great. Lots of imagination. Take your time, do a good job, and I'll see you next time. Bye.